There's multiple generations that grew up with Star Wars. There's the ones that grew up with the originals, and those like me that grew up with the prequels. Revenge of the Sith is my favorite, and I will stand by that. Come at me. Look, I could get into the issues of the prequels because believe me, there's quite a few, even in my favorite one. Regardless, those movies felt like Star Wars. Star Wars is a franchise that has always belonged on the big screen. Now of course we've gotten some great stories through television and video games, but in terms of live action, Star Wars has always been an event. Even in the prequel era, everyone was lining up to see it. The universe itself felt so alive, and even through all the cringy dialogue and dumb moments, the hype was still there. Our love for the characters was there. Star Wars felt alive. Lately, that hasn't been the case. Everything nowadays is a spin-off on Disney+. The last movie we got was The Rise of Skywalker, a pathetic ending to a trilogy with no plan whatsoever. At the start of that trilogy, there were small remnants of Star Wars that made it feel like Star Wars. We had a new group of characters with a lot of potential and a look and feel that screamed Star Wars. Did it rely on nostalgia too much? Yes, but it was still a solid, fun movie. The Last Jedi, although I may have my issues with it, it introduced new concepts that Star Wars needed to feel fresh. Even though a lot of people give that movie hate, I think it still felt like Star Wars. The Rise of Skywalker felt like a reaction to the feedback of Last Jedi, and that's what killed it. Seeing a recycled Palpatine is when it started to feel like fan fiction. Because this was just pathetic to do with such a massive IP. And in reaction to that horrific movie, we've only been getting projects that are made for the small screen. While the special effects are solid in all these shows, I can't help but feel that the cinematography looks like it came from a basic cable TV show. You remember the days before streaming, right? In those days, I remember watching a lot of shows on the Sci-Fi Channel. Yeah, Star Wars feels like one of those shows now. Not that there's anything wrong with those types of shows, but Star Wars was always a spectacle. Even when made for the small screen, it was meant to be an event. I can't help but feel that Star Wars is just a store-brand product at this point.
You are not worthy of my respect. You are not a god. You are simply bad product.
Liar! And I don't feel like there's anything new that they can create at this point. We watched 9 movies that revolved around the name Skywalker that we haven't really left that small part of the galaxy. We keep revisiting the same worlds, the same characters, and the same old stories. It's generic. The only fresh thing we've gotten in the years is Andor, and honestly, I just don't care about it. Although it feels a little more cinematic and it introduced new concepts, it's another character we've already seen in a time period we seem to be stuck in. And I get tired of seeing A-list actors appear in Star Wars. It takes me out of it for some reason. It just feels like they're including whoever they can to make extra money. At least the new trilogy brought in fairly unknown actors to establish the characters. It made these characters feel more alive because it wasn't a face I had seen a million times already. Mandalorian Season 3 is what did it for me, and I didn't even watch that season. And here's why. I'm a hardcore Jack Black fan. I never want to talk bad about this man because I think he is amazing. But I know he doesn't belong in Star Wars. I will say Lizzo is a good casting choice though. She really nailed the role of Jabba the Hutt in a way that I didn't think was possible. I say this whole universe feels like fan fiction because it's revisiting everything we've already seen, and it doesn't just feel like a massive Hollywood production. Look, hate on the prequels all you want, but we were introduced to excellent characters, concepts, and new worlds. Not to mention a score that will hold up for centuries. You feel something when Darth Maul whips out a double-sided dildo and Duel of the Fates starts playing. I'm not saying that we need John Williams to produce the score for every single project, but we at least need a score that is moving and feels like Star Wars. At least The Mandalorian had that with Ludwig Göransson. Other than that, nothing's really impressed me. At this point, I don't even know if the franchise can be saved. It started with endless potential in 2015 when it was going on the right track, and now it just feels so bland. I feel like a broken record at this point talking about my distaste for Star Wars, but with every project that gets released nowadays, I just can't help but feel that way. Maybe it's time that we put Star Wars on the shelf for a while and send Kathleen Kennedy to a galaxy far, far away. I seriously think we need a break from it because honestly, I just don't care anymore. And no matter what they release, I just don't see myself getting excited. I feel like it's a dead universe at this point. Maybe one day I'll care about this franchise again the same way I did growing up. But for now, I think it's time for Star Wars to hang up the jersey. But this is Disney, so stay tuned for Mandalorian the movie and Rey Skywalker. I'm starting to wonder if they just hate Star Wars. Do you think this franchise can be saved? Do you still enjoy Star Wars, or are you burnt out as well? Let me know in the comments down below. So, yeah. Bye.